So hi everyone, we are going to start with remainder theorem and even look at what factor theorem is with respect to few examples that will give us clear idea about what is remainder theorem and what is factor theorem and how to use them. So remainder theorem, what it says that if we have a polynomial fx, let us say we have a polynomial fx, and if this polynomial is divided by another polynomial x minus a, then the remainder that we get, that remainder can be obtained by just using the value of f of a, right? So the idea of remainder theorem is very simple, that if we have fx as a polynomial, and when this polynomial is divided by x minus a, then the remainder is f of a. That means we will be given with us f of x, right? F of x will be given to us, and how will we get the remainder? Remainder is obtained by just putting a instead of x in the expression of fx. So for example, let us see for example that we have a polynomial fx as 3x squared plus 2x minus 7, right? This is the polynomial. So we have to find the remainder, when fx is divided by, let's say x minus 1. So here what we do, we just compare x minus 1 with x minus a, and note that a is equal to 1. And once we have got a, we can find the remainder. So what will be the remainder? F of a. Very simple. That means f of 1. And how to get f of 1? We already have with us f of x. To get f of 1, I'll just put 1 instead of x. So that's gonna be 3 plus 2 minus 7. And that will be minus 2. So minus 2 is the remainder which we found using remainder theorem, right? Observe guys, I could have found the remainder by just dividing this by this polynomial. I could have followed long division method, but I avoided that and I found the remainder using remainder theorem. And this is what we require, right? So I hope we have a better understanding about remainder theorem now. Let us do one more problem related to remainder theorem. So let us say we have problem number 2 here, that if 3x square minus 2x plus 1 is divided by x plus 2, what is the remainder? So how do we do this? One thing is very much sure, we can use long division method and find out the remainder, but that's going to take quite more time. Instead, what we are going to use? We are going to use remainder theorem. And what does remainder theorem say? That considering a polynomial fx, so fx will be 3x squared minus 2x plus 1. When this is divided by x minus a, so this is compared to x minus a. So let us figure out the value of a. So we are just gonna write x minus a as x plus 2, and then we will solve and get a as minus 2. So once we get the value of a, our remainder will be f of a, and that is f of minus 2. And how to get the value of f of minus 2? We already have with us f of x. I'm just going to put minus 2 here. So 3 times minus 2 squared minus 2 times minus 2 plus 1. And that's going to be 12 plus 4 plus 1. And that will give us 17 as the remainder. Alright, so whatever idea we have used for remainder theorem, exactly same idea we have for factor theorem, just with a little difference. We saw that if fx was a polynomial and if we divide it by x minus a, then the remainder will be obtained using f of a, right? Remainder will be given by f of a. Now when this remainder comes out to be 0, that means when f of a is 0, then we say that x minus a is a factor of fx. So in simple words, we can write the factor theorem that x minus a is a factor of fx if f of a is 0, right? Exact same definition we use for factor theorem, similar to the remainder theorem, just with a little difference. In remainder theorem, we just get the idea about the remainder using f of a, but in factor theorem, if this remainder comes out to be 0, then we say that x minus a is a factor of fx. So let's take an example. So you have to check whether x minus 3 is a factor of x squared minus 7x plus 12. So how to do this one? First we are going to compare this x minus 3 with x minus a, and upon comparison we find that a is equal to 3. So what will be the remainder? How to get the remainder? We just find the value of f of a, that is f of 3. So let's try to put f of value 3 here in the expression of fx. So it will be 3 squared minus 7 times 3 plus 12. So that will be 0. And once we are sure that remainder is 0, that means we can say that x minus 3 is a factor of x square minus 7x plus 12. Okay, so I hope this is clear about the remainder theorem and the factor theorem, because this is quite simple. So in the next lecture, we are going to see some of the more complicated problems based on remainder and factor theorem. Alright guys, see you all in the next class.